Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here. No smiles, I have seen Resolution, the Doctor Who festive special, because that's exactly what it was always meant to be. Now this episode was blatantly filmed to be aired on New Year's Day. There was no sea change here. They weren't going to put it on Christmas Day. They were always going to put it on New Year's Day because apparently Chris Chibnall couldn't think of any ideas. That came out. As soon as that excuse was laughed at, Chris Chibnall started denying that. Now, this is not a review. I can't talk specifically about this episode or I'll be in big trouble. But I have seen it, and you know, I had a lot of hope, optimism for this episode. I thought this was the episode where the BBC told Chris Chibnall, you've got to make this something special. After a bland and uninteresting and boring season 11, where the companions weren't fleshed out, where this Doctor wasn't fleshed out, I had high hopes. And they were literally blown away from the moment this episode started. It is very disappointing to see what's happened to this IP. One of the things I'll tell you right now, the dialogue in this episode is terrible. But is it the dialogue, or is it the way Jodie mediocrely expunges this dialogue? They're trying to look at one of the criticisms, and they've tried to get her to say more doctory things, but it just doesn't work. First of all, I'll say one positive thing. Nick Briggs' performance as the voice of the Daleks is absolutely fantastic, and Nick Briggs has got great quality for his work on Big Finish, and of course his voice work. He's played many monsters' voices and creatures' voices on Doctor Who since the revival came back. But apart from that, I'm not going to lie to you. Jodie Whittaker and Chris Chibnall have to go. He cannot write Doctor Who. He spoke about this at not at a convention, when they were when they screened at a screening. He spoke about this being an epic, exciting episode because these specials should be that. All Doctor Who episodes should be epic and exciting, Chris. And I'm sorry, you may have attempted to do that, but it just does not work. We now have this long break from Doctor Who. And I don't know about you, but I really need it. Jodie Whittaker will tell anyone who listens how great it is that we've got a female playing the Doctor, because when she was growing up, it was just white men running around in these roles. Jodie, just because you're a woman, it doesn't qualify you to play this role. You know what? I never wanted a female Doctor, but fair enough. You wanted to cast a female Doctor, BBC. At least do the IP, give the IP enough respect to cast the right one. The female that would have done this role justice. This person has never led any drama or any film in her entire life. And there's a reason for that. Because she doesn't have the personality or the aura or the ability to do so. But she was cast in this role because this showrunner, Chris Chibnall, had worked with her on Broadchurch, where she did give us a really good performance as a grieving mother who found the strength to go on and face her son's killer. And that was beautiful. But she was not the lead of this show. She was one of many actors. She cannot be a lead. She is not the Doctor. And she proves it again in Resolution. Basically, blatantly called Resolution because of the New Year thing. Boring. It's really sad because the revival of this show really excited me. Especially the Russell T Davies era. It was so special and they've killed it. And you know what? When you look at the Rotten Tomatoes audience score, down 30% now, there has to come a time when we admit that this has been a creative failure. BBC, I'm talking to you directly. Whatever plans you've got for season 12, stop it. Stop it now, please. Please stop it now. It cannot happen. These people cannot carry on. You've got to bring someone in to run this show, and by by all means, cast another woman, but a woman who deserves the role, who's earned the role, who's got the ability and aura and personality to play the role. This woman is not the Doctor. You can cast a female Doctor for the rest of our lives and beyond if you want, but this woman isn't it. You know it and I know it. Why are you doing this? It's ridiculous. She isn't right for this role, and Chris Chibnall, quite clearly, isn't a very good showrunner for this show. It's a terrible combination because you've literally got two mates, one in the role and one running the show, and they're not challenging each other. We've heard so many wonderful interviews between Doctor Who showrunners and actors playing the Doctor, from the classic series to the revival, talking about challenging each other. We heard about Stephen Moffat and Peter Capaldi not always agreeing, challenging each other. That's where you get the best content. These people are just here for the right. They think because they've got a woman in the role, that's it. They just literally picked any woman. You're a woman, right? You've got a vagina. You can play the Doctor. That's not how it works. There are hundreds of fabulous female actors who could have done this role justice. I am friends with a lot of prominent female actors who would have killed for this role, who are not pleased she got it. They're not going to come out publicly and say that. Some of them have even lied publicly that they think it's great because they can't come out and tell the truth. That's not how this industry works. She's wrong for the role and he is wrong to be the showrunner for this show. It is not working. You have to do something, BBC, and you have to do it now. You can't sell any merchandise. You can't sell the box sets, and you're not going to. Be honest and stop putting this narrative that it's just racist and sexist white men who don't love this show. Basically, 70% of people watching this show are not getting anything out of it. Yes, the cameras are beautiful. It looks great, but it's no good. It does not work. It's a question of the BBC. Do they value Doctor Who as an IP, or are they just going to run it down? Because it's quite clear now this showrunner can't give the audience what it needs from this show. And for me personally, it's frustrating. It makes me angry, but mostly it saddens me. I hear the defenders of Jodie Whittaker's Doctor and Chris Chibnall talking about ratings all the time. Ratings. It isn't about the ratings, because guess what? When you watch something live, you don't know if it's going to be any good or not, right? So you turn in and watch it. Then you decide whether you like it or not. Then you're not going to decide if you re-watch it again on the iPlayer or if you buy it on Prime Video or whatever. How many re-watches has this got? How many prominent Doctor Who fans are watching like the revival from the beginning to season 10, but are not going to go back and re-watch season 11 because it has no re-watchability, right? It hasn't. You are killing this show. You have sucked the life out of it. Why have they got 3 companions? I'll tell you why. It's not about creativity. It's not to forward this Doctor or these companions. It's to tick boxes. It's so you can have a white man companion, an older white man companion, so you can have a female Indian companion, and so you can have a black companion. That's it. It's about diversity, but it's not forwarding the actual show. You want to have a black companion? Have a black companion. You want to have a female Indian companion? Do it. You want to have a 60-year-old white older man companion? Do it. Just make your mind up, you know. But doing this just to tick boxes, when you put political commentary ahead of creativity and entertainment, it is wrong. This episode was boring. It looked great. The effects were great. But the actual content of the episode just was not good enough. This is not what I was hoping for. I was hoping that finally I could embrace Chris Chibnall as a showrunner, that I could embrace Jodie as the Doctor. I can't, because every time she opens her mouth, it's so underwhelming. She's not the Doctor. She is not the Doctor. I didn't warm to Sylvester McCoy's Doctor. I didn't warm to Colin Baker's Doctor. I didn't totally embrace Peter Capaldi's Doctor. But I always saw them as the Doctor. There's nothing about this woman's performance that makes her the Doctor. Now, I'm sure Jodie Whittaker's a lovely lady, a great mum, a great wife, right, a great friend, great laugh down the pub, but that doesn't make her good enough to play the Doctor. I'm challenging you, BBC. Get rid of them now and cast another female. Cast a female who deserves this role, who's earned this role. This basically, I am going to review this properly, right? When you've all watched it, I'm going to review this and we can talk about what happened. And I can tell you why there's nothing within me, there's no part of this episode that I enjoyed. This is a sad day for me. This is a sad day as a Doctor Who fan. I've got the box set coming. I'm never going to watch it again. I'm thinking about cancelling it. I don't know. I'm very loyal to Doctor Who. I'm very loyal to this IP. Russell T Davies bought this show in a fabulous way. I love Doctor Who, the movie with Paul McGann. I know a lot of you hate it and think it's crap. I love it. Doctor Who, the movie, is much better than Season 11. Whatever you think about that movie, I think it is Doctor Who more than Season 11 is. So, if you are someone, a critic or a reviewer or a blogger who's seen this episode, please comment down below. If you're just a random Doctor Who fan who wants to comment down below. Now, if you say something that's not going to force me to spoil it, I will reply to your questions. I wish I never saw this. Honestly, I wish I never saw this. It is an episode, just like all of them, that just goes through the motions. The people making this show now don't love this show, don't care about this show. Russell T Davies, Phil Collinson, Judy Gardner cared about Doctor Who. Stephen Moffat, whatever his misgivings, right, whatever his flaws, cared about Doctor Who. Peter Capaldi cared about Doctor Who. Matt Smith, I don't think was totally a fan, but cared about what he was doing. It's just a very sad day for me when we've got this situation. And I will stress again, I don't care if we get another 5 females playing the Doctor, but at least do the thing justice enough. Give us, the fans, the respect enough to cast the right person. Defenders will talk about children like this. Children don't read the internet. People don't care what people say on the internet. Children, the young children who used to sit there watching it with their kids, that age group isn't watching it anymore. I remember 5 to 15-year-olds sitting there with their parents watching this show when Russell brought it back. That's not happening now. I've heard so many adults say, I can't force my kids to watch Doctor Who. That tells a story, doesn't it? It's, as I say, a very, very sad day for me. And I want all of you Doctor Who fans, before you come at me and try and defend the piece, if you really care about this show, you will speak up and tell the BBC in any way you can to replace this actor and replace this showrunner before this show is dead.